My friends,
We
we're
are
back.
back. We're so
We are
back
we're
after
so back. We're so live. Um we're all the way halfway through October already. I don't know how this happened.
unbelievable.
We we're coming fresh off of our last midweek Machamps with the one and only Pokey Brian. If you guys did not see that, then you should check it out. Really, lots of cool insight about print runs and booster box pricing and market fluctuation and market manipulation, all those fun topics. And today we're going to run it back with just me and Ricky and talk about a really important topic that I think all of us are a little bit curious about right now, especially with what we have seen maybe in the last week as far as pricing on some of these items that have been skyrocketing in the last little while. Um, so I think it's going to be a fun evening. What do you think, Ricky?
I suspect it will. We're probably not going to go as long as we did in that Pokieni stream. That was an iconic 3.5 hour conversation. We'll
It
probably
was.
not go that long tonight, but we'll have a lot of fun though.
Yeah, that it was like a marathon. In fact, I was just in Chicago for Collecticon, and it was the same weekend as the Chicago Marathon, which happened on this past Sunday. And we passed some of the signage and stuff while we were walking around downtown, and it said that like the first wave of people to leave the starting line was at like 7 a.m. or something like that.
Mhm.
And then it said that the post race after party began at 9:30 a.m. And I was like, dang, like there's some people out there that are like running marathons well under 2 hours and 30 minutes, and we were live for longer than that. And that same time frame, people are running like 30 miles.
Unbelievable. I have a friend, a former colleague of mine who ran the Chicago Marathon, and he hit a sub 3 hour time, which is
Jeez.
unbelievable. It's it's a sub 7 minute per mile pace.
Yeah, you're just moving. You're just booking the
Crazy.
whole time.
Booking it. Yeah, unbelievable. So huge accomplishment for him, but yeah, wild. Um, yeah, man. And then we also, before I want to hear about Collecticon in Chicago, but you and I spent some time together at Card Party in Seattle as well. And that
Yes,
was
we
fun.
did.
I don't know if you considered like me a friend before then, but I definitely feel like if we weren't friends before, we definitely are now. We broke bread, we watched the fights, we
Yes.
walked miles through Seattle to fail to find a sports bar.
We took
Uh,
selfies.
we did. It was adorable.
Yeah.
It's
No,
very cute.
it was I felt the same way, and I'm glad that we could meet up there and do some little content together that we'll talk about.
Yeah,
And I love that you could use like our booth as like a quasi home base a little bit. And
appreciated that.
yeah, of course we worked out a little deal on some singles. And of course, yeah, we walked through the city. We went and watched the fights that night, and I was really excited that you were there because when I go and watch fights and stuff during the show weekends, there's just really no one that can like match my utter nerdiness in MMA.
Yeah,
And yeah,
we were
and
going so nerdy.
yes, and you can match that nerdiness, and especially when it comes to the grappling and everything. Like we had so much to say about the wrestling that was happening in some of the title fights, and so that was a lot of fun. So I
It
agree,
was.
we
It
are
was.
fast friends.
I think it'll be a core memory eating the saltiest fries of all time and then watching Pereira win his title back and you and I jumping up and high-fiving each other. It was like yeah, I have to imagine that's going to be embedded in there forever.
Yeah, I agree, completely agree, and hopefully it's the first of many such interactions when we can watch some fights together, hang out together, be with each other in person. Because yeah, like we'll talk about later, we also had a chance to make a really cool video, and I'm excited for that. It's going to be
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
And card party was also fun. For those of you who have not been to a card party, it's worth your time.
Yeah.
Deep Pocket Monster, Pat Flynn and his team put on an extraordinary event with so many things happening throughout the weekend that are more than just like a card show. Obviously,
Yeah.
if you want to go there and make deals and trades and whatever, like there's tons of that, but they've got so much more than just that. And so that's worth your time. And then, like you mentioned, there was also just this past weekend, there was Collecticon Chicago, which is where I was. I went with Trey, the Jarvatar, and Franny, my wife, and we went a day early. Arrived on like Thursday evening, got dinner, and then the whole next day we just got to hang out in the city and go see the sights and take tours and try all the foods. And we went to the Art Institute, and I got to see the real Van Gogh and the real Munch Scream and everything. And so if you guys follow me on Instagram, then you got to see some of those photos and stuff, which was a ton of fun. And then we had the show on Saturday and Sunday, and it was great. I mean, I put it kind of similar to the New Jersey Collecticon on Saturday from basically like 9 a.m. till 3 or 4 p.m. It was just like absolutely packed, one person after another. We worked out lots of trades and deals and buys, and that was a ton of fun. And yeah, and then we traveled home safe. Unfortunately, I caught a little bit of a cold, so if you guys hear my voice and I sound kind of weird, then just bear with me. But I have a little bit of a cold since about Monday night. But we're going to soldier on and have some fun tonight talking about some really cool topics. Ricky, maybe we get right into some of our traditional topics.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to remind the chat, in case anyone's not been here, or if you're watching live and you're not in the chat, this is a great day to be in the chat. We're going to do a more interactive session. We'll tease what's going on next Midweek Machamps with a special guest at the end of the show. So you got to stick around for that. But today we're going to be going through our normal topics. We're going to get into the tall grass as we always do, but we'll be kind of quick on those. And we want to discuss top signals. And we'll say this again later. Me and Jake are not when we were talking about this topic, we're like, well, neither of us is like experts on this. We have some ideas, but I bet the chat has ideas on like, have we hit the top, or if we see certain things, are they the top? So we definitely want the chat suggestions. So if you're listening to this and you can safely get your phone or computer in a place where you can interact through the chat, today's a great day for it. And then also leave questions, because at the end we'll do, as always, we'll do Q&A, but we'll probably like proportionally do more Q&A than usual today. So keep it nice and light and super interactive. So yeah, how are we dealing with the market crash? We're going to talk about that. Yes, in big quotes for sure.
Yeah, we're liquidating everything. Fire sale.
We're selling it all. We're selling it all.
In fact, I've capitulated and I've opened up 200 booster boxes in the last 24 hours.
Oh wow! And you've turned that into how much in value and hits?
I turned it into immeasurable joy and a big stack of bulk.
Okay, that's great.
I'm a true hobbyist.
Wow. completely off of the business side of things now. It's just fully collector Jake is in the house now.
Sorry guys, this cold has got some dry humor coming out of me, so just bear with me. We're gonna have some dry jokes tonight.
Perfect. Well, let's start with those traditional topics. We always start with that personal collection pickup or some item we have a connection to if we didn't pick something up. I think we both did pick something up, so it's just a matter of you or me first.
Yeah. As far as personal collection, huh? I'll go first, and sure. I think my main pickups were from this past weekend at Collecticon. I really didn't take home too much from Card Party for myself.
Okay. But yeah, you were stuck to your booth.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a different kind of event. I didn't get to walk around too much, but Collecticon, I had prearranged a deal with our friend Dylan at the Bulba store. He came across a relatively clean copy of the Gengar Holo from Skyridge that I needed that for my E-Series master set. And then I also, as I was kind of walking back to my booth, I stopped by the Card Link booth. Shout out Card Link. Those are good guys out of the East Coast. And they've always got lots of really cool vintage cards. And they had some more of the e-readers that I needed, and I picked up a Crystal Celebi from them. I picked up a reverse holo Crystal Kabutops, and a bunch of other cards I need for my master set for Skyridge and other sets. So nice. We're getting close, guys. I mean, as far as like the big hits for E-Series, I'm missing Umbreon Holo from Skyridge, and then like a couple of the Ho-Oh Crystal. But besides that, like we're getting close as far as the big ones, and I have lots of the non-hollows and reverse hollows. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think that we'll complete the entire master set sometime next year, and that's probably going to be my most significant accomplishment from a collecting standpoint. I'm really excited about it.
Good for you, man. What kind of, so these are raw binder collections?
Yes, this is just master sets, and I would say average condition across every card. It probably averages like LP minus. There's definitely a lot of near mints in there, including some of the big ones, like the Celebi I got was near mint. The Crystal Charizard I have is near mint, and a lot of the reverses are near mint. But yeah, there's a handful of MPs. My only rule was that I didn't want to have any with creases. That was my only rule. As long as there wasn't creases or like such significant scratching that like the hollow was distorted or something. The goal really was just to have a binder that really kind of shows off the artwork.
Nice. Love it, man. Good. I've been trying to convince myself I don't need those crystals. I'm staying away from them for now, but it's totally up my alley.
Yeah, they're so nice, and
They are.
yeah, you'll own them eventually, English or Japanese. I'm sure you will.
All right. I have you saw these, Jake, like minutes after I bought them at Card Party, but the first night at Card Party, I was not expecting to make these pickups, but it's one of the only things I have left in terms of collection goals.
Nice. You know, I'm a fan of that, and I think if I remember right, Ricky, you're missing this one.
I sure am. I need that boy.
Oh, he's such a big, chunky boy.
I need that chunky, handsome man. Yeah,
And
these are
shout out Blast Boost in the chat for
yes.
being the biggest Blastoise fan I've ever met.
I love it. His whole identity. That's a strong brand.
Yeah.
Shout out Blast Boost. Always hanging out in the chat. Yeah, so I do need the Blastoise. These were both weighed heavy, which I kind of just learned that these have weights just like other packs. Like the blister is kind of a tricky thing, but the main thing is that they're really clean. Like a lot of these blister packs, the pack is like falling out and the seal is like not there and the cardboard's like all messed up. And these are like very, very, very nice. So I'm really excited to have them. And right now I just have them on these acrylic stands here, and I do need that Blastoise next.
Yeah, I consider those blister packs, and by extension the booster box of Base Set Unlimited, really just like a centerpiece for Pokemon card collecting, especially anyone who, was a fan of the franchise back when they were a kid. 100%. And because that old school original Ken Sugimori artwork, it's so quintessentially vintage Pokemon. And to have it, still sealed and in good condition, like who knows what it'll do long term from a value standpoint, but like it's an iconic showpiece. And there's obviously more expensive stuff out there. There's more, what's the word? There's more exotic cards, trophies and obviously gold stars and certain promos and things like this. But I don't know, like specifically the stuff that you could open as a kid, like, and anyone could get like at the drugstore or whatever, like that's the stuff that really gets me going more than like the high end exotic stuff.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. Though I get the exclusivity of like the play promos and the trophies. I get why people like those, but I'm with you. These are some of the coolest things I now own.
Yeah, very cool, man. Congrats.
Thanks, man. What was your favorite or notable card deal since our last episode?
Yeah, in Chicago, I had a guy walk up to the table. He had found his childhood collection, and for whatever reason, he was one of those people with just an absolute banger childhood collection. And so he had graded the higher end ones, and it included 2 copies of the Shining Charizard. And his grades came back as 8 and 8.5. And It also included a Fire Red Leaf Green Charizard EX. It came back a 9. And then it also included this guy right here.
Jeez. What's the pop on 8.5?
So this is a PSA 8.5 Gold Star Rayquaza. I think it's pop 23.
Wow.
And beautiful.
It's more than I would think.
Yeah. I mean, it's for whatever reason, I think PSA is kind of they're specifically for some of this like high end vintage stuff. They're happier to do like a half grade. And I think my only thought on why it got that is because they just were. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the back here. They were just kind of like on the fence with it having a minor whitening and less than like perfect centering compared
Okay.
to like maybe a 9 or obviously a 10. Um, but like I look at it and I compare it with some of the 9s that I've seen, and it's obvious that PSA has gotten more strict with their grading criteria,
Mm.
especially for certain cards. And so they just felt the need to give it an 8.5 instead of a 9 now, even though it's obviously cleaner than a lot of 9s out there. So it's all subjective. We've talked about this before. The grading companies just kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But yeah, really a big deal. The guy just really wanted cash, to cash out and make his next play from there. And so we worked out a big cash deal for all these high end cards.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
On my end, nothing quite as wild. About a year ago, I bought a bunch of Japanese cards that I graded and they did really well.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, about a year ago, something like that. And maybe beginning of this year. And one of them was an Oyama Pikachu that got a 10. And at the time, it was like a $900 card. So I was like, oh, well, it's in the name. I'll keep it. Personal collection. Like I get a $900 card for like under $200 all in or something was my cost. And then that card is now like selling for over 3K. So I decided to sell it. So I brought it to Card Party and ended up doing the deal with a local guy. Funny enough, like I go to all these other places. I go out of state, out of the city, and I end up just doing a bunch of deals with the same guys like half the time, but not half the time, but I always end up doing these deals. So it's a young kid actually, but he buys a lot of high end. So and he's a bit of a hustler. So I was having some fun with him, but it was just at the trade night on Friday night. And I was like, do you want this? And he's like, what would you want for it? And we comped it out. We figured it out. I sold it for 3K. So I definitely like could have been more patient and gotten more. I had also just spent about 3K on these packs plus some cards from you and stuff. So I was pretty in the mood to take some profits and like, essentially make these free to me. So,
Yeah.
so I decided to do that deal. And that was a fun one, just kicking off. Like, it was just one of those, like, that was kind of the vibe with Card Party. It was like, you buy things, you sell things, you trade things. There's like real collectors. There's people who are just into like the flipping. There's people who kind of ride the line between the two, which is, I think, where you and I sit. And yeah, the trade night was wild. People sitting at these tables, basically like in a hotel ballroom kind of thing. And
Yeah.
some people had maybe $1 million of cards out on the table in front of them. It was
Yep.
unbelievable.
Yep.
But it was just fun to go to that and see what people had going on and do that deal. So that was one little memorable recent sale that like you can attend a card show, and again, particularly using the relationships that you've already built, you can always take profits. So I'm sure I'll own that card again someday, and who knows at what price point, but it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's such a good example of like, honestly, in my opinion, the right way to be interacting with the hobby. Um, you can take those profits and put them towards things that you really, really like.
Yeah.
And you were able to do that because you had formed relationships and you had created a basis and a foundation of knowledge about the value of your cards. And you were able to work out a deal that was mutually beneficial for both parties. And that's what
Totally.
it's all about. Very cool, man.
Yep. Thanks, man. Yeah. Uh, you've heard of girl math. Now it's time for oh yeah math. I like oh yeah math.
Oh, yeah, math. I
Oh
love
yeah
that.
math. That is definitely oh yeah math right there. I made
Yeah.
money. I went to Card Party and made money, y'all.
Yeah,
Ignore
exactly.
the fact.
Yeah, it's not like you bought those things that also had potentially gone up in value since you've owned this Oyama's Pikachu. It doesn't matter. It's like new
Doesn't
money
matter.
is new money.
New money. I made a profit. That's what I told my wife.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
How'd you do a card party? Oh, I sold thousands, babe. Now, how's your day
Literally.
go?
100%. Yep. And that's that whole story. We definitely didn't. Well, you know what? We spent thousands of dollars on gradable cards, which I just sent in. So we might actually make a lot of money. We'll see.
Cool, man. Yeah, good luck
It's
on the
not what it's
grade.
all about. It wasn't the reason I was there, but it happened to, I had the time to go poking around each day for
Hey,
a different
if
reason.
Ricky has a chance to do some buying and a buyer's POV, like you better believe there's going to be some hustling and some good cards and some clean cards bought for good deals. Like you better believe that's how it's going to go.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Should we get into our Hitmon
Let's dive in,
topics?
y'all.
We've got
Whoa,
our friend Brian.
who's this guy?
Who's this guy? We talked to him recently. The first Hitmon topic is related to Phantasmal Flames. So the first thing is like this rumor of like, is it short printed? And the second piece of this is like, what is the other set that from Japanese that this is comprised of? Will there be a Gengar? This was a topic I know you wanted to touch on. I'm not an expert in this stuff. I know that Brian's take was basically like one of his main takeaways was there's no baseline. It's not like Pokemon always makes 1 million boxes of a specific thing, and then this time they're doing 500K instead, and therefore it's short printed by 50%. Like that concept is sort of like it's an unknowable equation. But like, what was your take on this before we talk about the Gengar piece of this?
I think, and maybe just to kind of to backpedal a little bit, I think that the
Sure.
basis of some of the rumors around the short printing of Phantasmal Flames comes down to like someone hearing from someone else that a certain person got allocated less Phantasmal Flame booster boxes than maybe other sets in the past, whether it's Mega or Destined or whatever. And I think Brian's point, and one that I agree with, is like it doesn't really matter what someone got allocated before. There's no promise of certain allocation numbers. Doesn't necessarily mean it's indicative of general supply or long-term supply goals that the Pokemon Company has.
Yeah.
And so it's not worth even using the term short printed for the vast majority of cases. But that doesn't mean that this set is going to be generally available. Like if there is a set and there is a time when there's going to be a feeling of not enough supply to meet demand, I think this is definitely going to be it.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk later about how some of the booster boxes that are available today have maybe going to retrace to 5 or 10 or 15%.
Yeah.
And so is that going to mean that, oh, well, Phantasmal Flames isn't going to come out of the gate as hot as maybe we thought it would? And I just think that there's too many tailwinds, like we've talked about, holiday season and all these things. But we also wanted to talk about what's actually going to be in this set, because we know that there's some sort of Gengar implication. We've now, I feel like it's been confirmed, if I'm not wrong, that this Oricorio SIR is going to be in the Ultra Premium collection and not in the mainline set. So it seems like there's going to be some SIRs that are in that set that we don't know yet. We don't know what they are yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then there's this rumor about this Gengar deck. Were we able to find any info on that? Yeah.
Well, it's this one, right? I don't think it's a rumor. I think it exists.
But like that, there's going to be some sort of like a Chase Gengar available in this. That is not available, obviously, in Inferno X or some other Japanese set, but will be found in Phantasmal Flames. Now, I want to lean maybe on the chat. What have they discovered in their hunting?
Yeah, well, so Elder Unlimited 9 just says it's real, but do we know about the chase component, or is it like a standard pre-built deck situation?
Yeah, because the Pokemon Company is starting to do like exclusive artworks in some of these like pre-built decks. Like I have this card right now, this slab. It's like I think it's Steven's Beldum. Okay. And the card was, I think, exclusive to a battle deck. Okay, it's a standard deck with a Haunter illustration rare.
Steven's Beldum.
There's an IR Haunter in the deck. Okay, so that people are saying that there's a Haunter. Has this already been opened and everything? Like, obviously, this is obviously for sale here on TCG Player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sumus is saying it's going to be like the Marnie rival battle deck. Okay.
Both I guess I'm just curious, like, if if there's still going to be some sort of Gengar representation in the set, because we haven't even seen like a full art of any sort, right? Or
Yeah.
obviously not an SIR. So there's still so much to be seen with Phantasmal, and I kind of wanted to see what the chat thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people have opened. There are some of the UPCs got delivered early, and we're starting to get opened, right? So like we don't have a lot of data, but we have some information about what's in the set and what might not be. But yeah, okay. So people are just basically saying the Haunter IR. Okay. Haunter art rare. Let me see if I can find
Yeah,
it.
on the cover here we have a Gengar EX regular ultra rare here, but like no leaks of any sort of like like more strict rarity than that.
Is it this guy?
Yeah,
I
is
think
this
it's
a
this.
confirmed artwork
Yeah,
here?
I think so.
Okay.
People are selling it on eBay.
Yeah. Like that has to appear in the set, right?
I don't know. I mean, they've done some stuff that's like exclusive to certain Japanese products, but lately they have turned up in the set, right? Like the Meowth, that Japanese Meowth, I think was confirmed in one of the upcoming Phantasmal or something. The
Yeah.
SVG starter promos ended up. There was just the Charmander for the Obsidian Flames ETB promo, and then it ended up Squirtle and the Bulbasaur were in Stellar Crown. So I think they generally do this. So I would think probably it'll show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are saying it will.
Yeah, I mean it's giving like if I was going to guess, if I was going to bet, like it would make me feel like there was going to be maybe like a Ghastly and a Gengar to match that kind of art style, similar to what they did for the Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur and Mega.
That'd be
I'm
sick.
guessing that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool. Okay. Good little chat on this. Should we move on to getting some help from our Geo dudes in the chat?
Yeah, we need a little help from our Geodudes, from the Geodudes here in the chat.
You want to
We
tell them? Yeah.
I was going to say we have an upcoming collaboration video. We hinted on this where when we were at Card Party together, we got to record some footage together. Should we tell them what it was all about, Ricky?
Yes. So Jake and I each had $2,500 to spend, and we had two jobs, which was to buy graded cards that, one, were cooler than the other guy's graded cards,
Mm.
and two, would appreciate more than the other guy's $2,500 purchases over the course of a month. And with the way the market is, maybe it's whose depreciates less,
Yeah,
depending
maybe
on
we
how
both
things
get
go.
killed.
What's that?
Maybe we both get killed. Maybe we both did it. Maybe we did our challenge right at the peak.
That would be hysterical and perfect for the topic today about the peak, which we'll get back to. So that was our challenge. So no trade up challenge. Hopefully not too cringe. It's gonna be a little cringe, and we know it. But the video is so much fun. The other piece with the video, by the way, before we get your help on this, is we were allowed to heckle each other. So there is a little bit of smack talk as we're carrying the camera around, and we set up two mics, and the whole video is actually already edited. And so it's just a matter of getting your help in the chat today to vote on the coolness of these two purchased lots. And then in 2 more weeks, we'll be joined by a guest, but we'll also figure out in a spreadsheet who wins the appreciation speculation game.
Yeah. Can we zoom in on this image at all, Ricky, so people can get an idea not only of the cards but the grades and everything?
Yeah, sure. So let me let's see how much we can get here without messing up the screen share. Yeah, the resolution's a little funky for some reason, but okay, we'll kind of go through it and then zoom back out. So we're not telling you whose is who. It's just top row versus bottom row.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a Giratina V-Star PSA 9, Groudon PSA 10 from Paradox Rift, Japanese Magikarp Art Rare PSA 10, Sprigatito PSA 10 from Paldea Evolved, the Astral Starmie V PSA 10, and the big bangers, the Lugia V from Silver Tempest PSA 10. And then the second lot, oh, I see. It's got broken images for some reason. That's my bad. I don't know why. Maybe I'll give it a hard refresh and see if that helps. But Rayquaza GX PSA 10, Gengar from Fandom Forces PSA 10, Roaring Moon SIR from Paradox PSA 10, Darkrai GX PSA 10, and Dragonite V Evolving Skies. Let me try giving it a hard refresh. Hopefully it doesn't just totally break it. Hopefully it fixes it. It did fix it. Okay, it looks much better now.
Nice.
Okay, much clearer. Sorry about that. I don't know what was going on. Okay, so the chat's voting. Do we want to try to count them up? I didn't actually think through how we're gonna count them up. Someone said bottom. Someone said top. Bottom. Bottom. Top going to appreciate more for sure. Top.
It's kind of split.
We're just voting on coolness right now. Someone is saying top row is me. Obviously, Jake never buys Japanese. That's not true anymore. I've seen Jake dealing in Japanese lately.
I've actually bought that Magikarp card many times.
Yeah. I actually bought a Magikarp card from someone who bought it from you. I traded it. Okay. Groudon.
People saying top is definitely Ricky. That's interesting.
That is interesting. I wonder why they think that. The Dragonite is my favorite card on here, so bottom for coolest. Top, cool. Top. Bottom, Gengar kind of cheating. Bottom is cooler.
We got my big bro in here. He's shilling for me. Shout out Jarmangander.
Okay. Well, shilling for your brother is but you don't even know if it's your brother. Just shilling for your potential brother is I don't know. Seems unfair. Okay.
I think top has got more votes, Ricky.
I think so too. Okay. So I think top wins coolness. Do we tell them who's this who's yet, or do we wait?
I think we can tell them because I think there's going to be some fun in like who's going to appreciate more. I think that this is a good format for you though, because you are the top.
I am the top.
I think this is a good format for you because, like, from this distance, I cannot tell that the Magikarp is Japanese or that the Giratina V-Star is American.
Come on. The excuses are already brewing. I zoomed in and explicitly said what every single one was.
Maybe what I should have done is just buy, like, 50 PSA 8 cards so that it looked like I just had, like, this huge badass collection compared to your...
What were you expecting? The excuse is already starting because you lost the coolness vote. Unbelievable.
I don't know. All I know is if I know anything about Ricky, he's calculated, and he would have known that just packing the court with tons of artworks was the way to win over the.
It's not even really how I thought about it. I mean, you had an interesting strategy. I do think it's possible you'll win the appreciation battle. One thing worth noting here is that I definitely won the cooking vendors battle, which you'll see in the video. But we both spent exactly 2,500 to the dollar. And my market value on the day was like a few percent higher than what you extracted. We both did pretty good. We both paid something like, you paid something like 90 and I paid something like 88% of market or sticker or something like that. So, well, the appreciation is really what matters, or the least depreciation, depending on how it goes. That would be hilarious too. But yeah, I know that you and I were talking about this. We kind of said, like, off the record, probably my row is maybe the better long-term play, but I felt like you made the better short-term plays. Like, you speculated pretty heavily on how these cards are attached to other cards that are moving right now, as well as the upcoming sets.
Yeah.
The Rayquaza, Gengar, maybe Darkrai, Dragonite. I mean, like, Dragonite was a really good idea. Mega Darkrai. Like, there could be a Darkrai set. You were talking about the Roaring Moon, the other Roaring Moon. I think the prismatic one climbing.
Prismatic, right? Yeah. It's also retraced since that show, but like it's a strong card. It's a Shinji Kanda art, and so I thought that this one would kind of rise a bit in relationship to that one getting so much attention.
Yeah. So there's some interesting stuff here in the comments. The 9 is not going to appreciate that at all for that Tina. I'm not sure I agree with that. One of the things I was thinking about with the 9, JT, was that it would essentially just mirror the like raw market, which Jake heckled me for in the video. But I did pay 180 for this card, and market raw was like 225, and they had it stickered at 2. So like either way, it was a win.
We both did this one thing at separate occasions where like someone had a card stickered probably under its value, and yet we still felt the need to make an offer below their sticker value because we're absolute degenerate hustlers.
Yep.
It's just we have such vendor brain, it's
Oh,
terrible.
100%, man. Someone's saying this is a hobby for him. I'm not sure who that might be referring to me cooking vendors. Someone said, give a reason for the Darkrai. That's a crazy pick. I thought it was a cool pick actually, but yeah, what was your thinking on the Darkrai?
Well, the thing on the Darkrai was that I got it for 160 and the last comp was like 250.
Okay, but that wasn't what drew you. Yeah, and people will see in the video that you absolutely shamelessly leverage a personal relationship and coerce an innocent baby Broly to make a crazy deal on that. But you were drawn to this like these GX cards. Like what was that?
Honestly, like I think when it comes to retracement, in a market that is comparatively like not as like ultimately bullish as it has been for a couple months, all these Sun and Moon cards, maybe Hidden Fates is a bit of an exception because it was printed so much, but even so, just comparatively lower pop on these full arts from Sun and Moon. Um, and specifically, some of the full arts, and again, this is off topic, but some of the full arts from sets before the tag team era. So like, Celestial Storm and Forbidden Light and Ultra Prism, some of these full art Pokemon, not necessarily trainers, but the Pokemon are so low pop. Like there's like, for example, I have a Burning Shadows Rainbow Machamp. It's pop 61 in a 10. Like this is a
Okay.
modern set.
Yeah.
And that was a secret rare card. Like secret rare cards in today's sets are pop 5,000 in a matter of months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just thought that, regardless of market trajectory, that those would be strong buys.
Okay. Nice. Cool, man. Um, okay, so I win coolness. Remains to be seen who wins appreciation.
You're right, dude. Everyone's looking for that PSA 9 Giratina. You're right. I'm always getting asked for a
Okay.
PSA 9.
Hey, the heckling part is over. Guy who picked Roaring Moon 10 and fleeced your buddy Derek to get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just say this. I took that Roaring Moon back to my table, and 3 of these 5 cards sold within an hour.
So in that sense, they did appreciate immediately for you, but
Yeah,
that's not exactly
they
right.
appreciated for me, not necessarily for the
Yeah.
competition. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think I might lose. I mean, you have 6 cards here. You've got 6 chances.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, that just goes to show the strategic mind being able to fit 6 incredible cards into $2,500.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you choose Japanese and you choose some PSA 9s. Yeah, you're definitely a quantity over quality person. I agree.
Okay, all right. All right, that one I walked into. All good.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
well,
so remind us what's the date that we're going to do the cutoff for the value comparison?
I think we're gonna just do it on the next stream live, reveal
Okay.
it there, and then we'll cut that into the video. So probably we will all find out what happened, whatever that date is, the 29th, I think, Wednesday, the 29th, if I want to
Yes.
say. Yeah, yeah. So we'll do it then. That will be, I think it was October 3rd that we bought this stuff. So it'll be very close to a month, close enough, and we should do it live. And then I will grab those snippets from the lives right away, and probably that video will be up a couple days after that show.
Dude, what if my Mega Dragonite set is announced like the day after we do that? I'm gonna get cooked. It's terrible.
That would be amazing. Okay, look, if that actually happens, we can addendum before the video goes out. If really something like that happens, one of these popped like the next day until the 3rd, like we'll have a little embargo till the 3rd or whatever. I don't know if embargo is the right word, but like we'll have a little grace period till the
Yeah.
3rd to get that true month. I mean, listen, I don't know. Like this might be a Hitmon topic. My buddy JT sent me this. I'm not gonna have a hard time finding it because I didn't prep it. I don't know if you saw the videos of the Mega Starmie in the game.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's out here. It's very SpongeBob SquarePants.
It's total SpongeBob SquarePants, and yeah, absolute Patrick Star vibes, just running around, being Starmie with long legs and huge. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's insane. But I mean, stock's high on Starmie, and one of these two has one of the greatest Starmie cards of all time in it.
Yeah, you're right. Now that I've seen all those videos, I'm thinking that your
Yep.
Starmie choice is so strong.
Yep.
Everyone's gonna flock to Starmie cards now that they've
Yep.
seen that horrific body dysmorphia video of Starmie running around.
Exactly. My thoughts I'm glad we're seeing eye to eye on this. For once, we agree on something.
Yeah, I don't know. I did see that Mega, and again, maybe this is an unconfirmed leak, but it seemed like Mega Dragonite shiny is blue, which is kind of sick.
Mega
So I'm
Dragonite?
yeah, I'm hoping like a minty
Oh,
colored
shiny.
Dragonite.
Isn't the normal shiny Dragonite like green?
Yeah, yes, like light green.
Yeah, blue would be a little better. Listen, you're trying to cope. You're really just, it's a complete copium here on the Dragonite, Mega Dragonite. You hated Mega Dragonite, and I think you should just keep that same energy.
Yeah, I hated it, but people also hated Fusion Strike. And it's done incredibly well. Sometimes you have to make a bet around what other people might do.
Right, compromise your integrity and your personal beliefs. Were you one of the people who hated Fusion Strike?
Uh, I'm like everyone else. I struggled. The initial box that I opened was really great, but then after that, I never got anything out of it. So it was always really tough pull rates. But I didn't ever have an issue with Fusion Strike. But I remember it was hated, and it went to like $80 a box,
Yeah,
and now it's like 1,000. So you just never
it
know.
is.
I'm thinking.
Never
I'm
know.
thinking that my Dragonite choice is strong, and we're gonna get an announcement of a Dragonite set hopefully soon. Hopefully,
On the
like Mega
28th.
Dream or whatever, and that'll end this debate once and for all.
Okay. Whatever you say, man. We'll find out. That time will tell. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I already won the coolness vote. So the best you can do is tie.
No, I think money talks. Like you might have the love of like 15 random internet people on your side, but like I'm gonna
Wow.
I'm gonna have the money.
He's throwing the chat under the bus. You
Just
see
the,
what
just just the people that voted for you instead of me.
you
Just
see how
just that
quickly
amount that swung the difference.
he flips. What I heard there was just that you're something something something. You just care about the money and not the coolness of the cards and the hobby. Something something something. You're what's wrong with the hobby? Blah blah
Yeah,
blah. Scalper,
yeah,
scammer. Somehow you're a scammer.
yeah.
You're scalping
After
all of these cards somehow.
after 14 to 18 months of just getting called Evil Coop and Business Coop and Giovanni's Coop, I'm
Yeah,
I'm just embracing it.
yeah,
I'm pure evil.
yeah. Good thoughts on capitalism. Obviously in favor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, capitalism. I vote yes.
We vote. Great. That's 2 yes votes. I mean, the capitalism kind of sucks. That's a different. Maybe that's a different topic for a different day.
Sure. We'll do that on a different
Yeah.
Chompcast.
Well, yeah, we'll do that another day. Okay. What else we got in Hitmon topics? Do we have another Hitmon topic? No, we're going into the Gyarados of reality.
That's right.
Okay. We got a few things. I added some since we talked. They're just quick ones, but the first one was something that you wanted to chat a little bit about with the chat with
Yeah.
regards to yeah. Go
Gather
ahead.
around. Gather around, all my friends, to the Jar Chomp campfire. I'm going to give you a Gyarados of reality.
Let's hear it.
Don't call me daddy, but we're going to give you a little bit of wisdom here while
Daddy.
Rick
Why,
while
why
Ricky's
would they?
away from the camera.
I was just closing the. Why would they call you daddy? Like,
Because
can we
I'm about
just?
to, I'm about to drop some knowledge for the people.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
about to impart of wisdom. Here's the truth. Ready? We all need to be okay taking profits sometimes. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about there's kind of I think sometimes a intuited competition between collectors and other people that just kind of general people in the hobby that you need to somehow be the person who has the most unrealized gains on your booster boxes or your slabs or the collection that you have or the collection that you bought. And my Gyarados of reality is that doesn't matter. You're not competing with anyone. You shouldn't compete with anyone. there's always going to be somebody out there who held longer, who, made on paper a larger percentage or a larger actual number in value on their collection or in their, investments, if you want to call it that. But that doesn't matter. And what does matter is that, we can't ignore the financial implications of the value of all these items in the hobby.
Yeah.
And finance is another word for money. And money, when you have something that's worth money and you need to use some of that money for something else in your life, you should do it. And you should be okay with that. And, whether it's something for your family, for your health, for your home, for another hobby, for a friend, no one ever went broke, and no one ever, I guess, ruined their life by looking at the value of their collection, seeing that it's, considerably higher than it used to be. They sell some of it, realize some actual increase in value, and use that money for something else. That's totally okay. And I support it. And both you and I are doing a little bit of it right now.
Yep. I opened the show talking about doing a little bit of it, and I moved the money into, it was just to fund this hobby. But I 100% agree, especially if you're in a position where that money can do something for your life. And we're going to talk a little bit more in the main topic about some of the things that we've seen and some of the sort of resistance levels, or this interesting trend we're noticing with people who are selling their collections and taking profits. That sometimes there's that number you have in mind, and you're like, hey, if my collection's ever worth that much, I'll sell all of it or half of it or whatever. Anyone who watches my channel knows I'm a huge advocate of like regularly sort of downsizing when you have something appreciating like this, like regularly downsizing your collection in order to take profits and help make the rest of your collection essentially cost covered. I just love the peace of mind that brings me for my collection. So but I hear what Lily Mix is saying here. Like, you love these cards and you see profit to be made in a market like this, and it's like hard to hold on to them. Yeah, you do have to make those decisions, and they are hard decisions sometimes. Like, I didn't want to sell the Oyama's Pikachu, but like the sales were at like 3,500. Low list was like 3,800. I was like, dude, I spent $200 acquiring and grading this card. Like, I don't love it $3,000 amount. And if it ever goes back to $1,000, I'm buying it immediately, right? So
Yeah.
these are just things, especially if you can put it into a priority, your health or your family or something like that. You should prioritize those things for sure.
Yeah, completely agree. Not one size fits all advice.
Yeah, agreed.
But I guess maybe one caveat I'll add here.
Okay.
Is that later down the road, when almost inevitably a lot of these items are still worth the same amount or even more than they were when you sold them, you need to realize that these assets, which is what they are in a pretty serious sense now, a pretty proven track record of them being assets long term typically end up in the hands of people who have so much available income from other sources that they don't need to sell their assets. And so when we look at some of these people who have been in the hobby long term, if you do want to be like them, like we're talking about, like the really popular ones, right? Like Pokey Rev and, Leonhardt, the people that obviously have insane collections long term. They've been collecting a long time. But then also maybe some that are maybe a little bit less known. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with TCA Gaming. His name's Rusty. Some of the most insane, incredible collection, that I've ever even heard of or seen. And what is common for all of these people is that over the course of 5, 10, 15, 20 years, these are net buyers rather than net sellers.
Right.
And in order to have long-term wealth generation, you need to be a net buyer of appreciating assets. And so take some profits for sure, But again, if you're hoping to be in the position like some of these people that maybe you aspire to be, you need to be a net buyer.
Yeah. 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 Makes sense. Yeah, I like that. That concept for sure. And a lot of people in the chat are sharing examples of like doing these sorts of making either one of these decisions, right? Like Blast Boost saw something appreciate 3x, but it doesn't need the money, so he's keeping it. Like, yeah, it's super valid, great. And
Yeah.
it is pop 15. Like, it is going to be hard to find again. Someone said they sold their Ancient Origins 10s back in August, and they're glad they did. Summers had to sell some umbies to pay some real life stuff off. Had to, like, obviously not happy about it, but like made what ultimately is going to be the right call, short, medium, and long term, like no matter how you look at it. So yeah, I appreciate people sharing those stories. Another thing I wanted to share is a Gyarados. Sorry, are we good to move on from that Gyarados of reality? I don't
Sure.
have a lot else to add. Yeah, okay. So this story was kind of circulating in my circles. I don't know these people personally, but allegedly, while someone was at a card show, someone used AI voice clone to sort of social engineer, like getting into their house and stealing a bunch of slabs. So there's some accusations in the comments. I think you can see them here of like, this is a crazy story, and like this is hard to believe. Right? Setting it aside, I have no opinion on this. Like, I didn't read it and immediately think that they were making a story up for insurance reasons or anything like that. The thing I mostly just want to talk about is that, like, I had just finished editing and uploading a video about protecting and insuring your collection, storing it in multiple I have my stuff in like 3 different places at any given time. There's a lot of things that could happen. You just have to be cautious. And it was just very like top of mind for me that I saw this story, and whether or not again, not commenting on whether this exact story is true or not, or if it's an inside job or whatever. The main thing I wanted to talk about here with the Gyarados of reality is that social engineering with AI audio and video is going to get way more and more common very quickly over the next few years. And like, you should prepare yourself and your family against it. People have already been doing this to like steal money from old ladies. Like, there's these like voice clone scams that have been around forever of like calling your grandma and saying like you're being held hostage and you need 10 grand wired or something, and it's like voice clone of you kind of deal. Social engineering always been a thing. Anyone who's ever worked in corporate has taken every 6 months or every year one of those obligatory, super boring security like courses that are required for certain types of compliance. And yeah, they talk about social engineering as like it's surprising what we can sort of like fall for. So again, setting aside this exact story, which I have no reason to believe that it's false, and people I trust were reposting it and stuff, but even if the story were a complete fabrication, the lesson, the Gyarados of reality, still extremely valid. You have to, if you have a collection worth any value and you're posting content, or you go into shows, it could be anything. You're seen at a GameStop buying cards and going into your car, someone could follow you home. Like, I know it sounds paranoid, and it depends where you live and everything, but like, when I go to my storage unit, I'm watching if anyone's been behind me too long. If when I'm coming back, I'm watching if anyone come back from shows, watching if anyone's been behind me too long. Never had any issues. But like, yeah, you should be paying attention to these things, and it's only going to get more sophisticated and scarier with technology making this relatively easy. So that's my Gyarados of reality, is like, there are people out there that are doing stuff like this. It could literally be people who will really they will there are people someone in this chat has someone in their circle that they're just not quite close enough with, that they would absolutely risk jail time and essentially betray your trust for $150,000 of something that, especially for something untraceable, non-slabs.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat here who I've seen, I think I know this person's name. I think it's Liam, but Liam or Levi, someone who's been around my channel for a long time. Know this person from a non-TCG community, have friends who are friends with him. Very likely this is true, unfortunately. There you go. So yes. Yeah, this is why I don't let my voice, right. I mean, me and Jake as content creators, you think someone can't upload this episode of this podcast and then call my wife and make it seem like it's me? Like, like prepare your family for stuff like this. Is your Gyarados reality from me.
Yeah. Nothing to add. Very well said.
Okay. We keep ending. The Gyarados of reality is sometimes sucks the air out of the room a little bit, but something that I want to touch on before we get to the main topic is the market flatness, right? Everyone, I mean, we could probably let's pull up some. What's a good example? Almost anything, right? Is the
Check out Paldea Evolved box. That's
yeah,
probably a good
that's
marker.
exactly what I was thinking was Paldea Evolved. Let's go booster box. Okay. So after months and months and months of just absolute absurd stonks, Shiny Cardboard became total stonks and then hit 476. And now it's flattening out. And this is not, we're not in the far-fetched ideas segment, but I have been eagerly awaiting the day that this stuff just chills for a little. Like, as much as I'm a beneficiary of some of this stuff going up because I own some of it, it is so much more stressful and so much less, like, it's so much harder to just be focused on the fun part of the collecting and the hobby when these values are so hard to ignore. And like, I don't know, it's like I would just be able to enjoy it more if things were a little flatter and we could just go back to making our 15% margin at card shows. I think this is a well, I'm stealing this idea from people like Rudy, Alpha Investments, but this is a healthy consolidation after an absurd bull market run for a long time, especially this year, though. And this stagnation or a slight dip by 10 or something percent is healthy. It's a good thing. That's my personal take. Jake, you're in the business, so I'm not. You might feel differently, but I started seeing this. You know, some people started panicking. Their collector or shiny apps like stalled out, and I was like, "Are you joking? Finally, like we're here. We've arrived. What do you think?"
Yeah, I completely agree. It's not just like like what are the downstream effects of this of a slowdown or a cool down. It means that maybe boxes are more available at MSRP at release and blah blah blah, and all those kind of tactical things I think are important potential symptoms of this. But I think even more importantly, just like looking at the market trend line generally, this is what you want to see. You want like a healthy market has corrections
Yeah.
and has peaks and valleys as it kind of marches on generally upwards and to the right. It's the times when it's like everything keeps going and is too good to be true that like everyone understandably is kind of on the edge of their seat and like do we buy anything? Do we sell anything? Like what's the wise thing to do? And like if you kind of take the last 6 days of this kind of evening out or even depreciation in top line value of these items and you extrapolate it over the course of like 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
that is exactly the market environment that existed when I got into vending. And so for those of you who are maybe newer to being like heavily involved in the hobby, not just financially, but for like from a time standpoint, buying, selling, and trading, etc., like this is fine. This is good. This is normal. You as a side hustler, hobbyist, or even business owner, like you need to learn how to operate in a world where like money isn't just falling from the sky every second. And but it's also, like I said, it's indicative of some health. Like it's very natural that at a certain point of appreciation, some percentage, and in this case, a larger percentage of people are willing to sell than buy for a period of time on let's say a majority of items, and that is good. That proves that the current structure of buying and selling and people with low amounts of capital and people with high amounts of capital, we've got all these different players. We're all interacting in a predictable, healthy, understandable way, like these other long-term markets that we are all participating in, whether stocks or crypto or otherwise. And so I'm happy about it. do I, look at the collection that I have that's outside of my business inventory and think like, oh, like, wouldn't it be great if it just like kept going up and up and up? It's like, maybe, yeah, like on a, from a, what's the word? Like a satisfaction of my near term dopamine needs. Like I would like that. But
Yeah.
like, I think a pullback is a signal of, it's a signal of safety for what I am hoping to do for the next, few years or foreseeable future, which is to kind of continue to interact in this hobby and in this business. And
Yeah.
um, it's going to mean that some doors are opening more than they were, and some doors are closing more than they were, and you have to be able to adjust and adapt.
Yep. Totally. Yep. And a lot of good like questions and thoughts in the chat that I'll pull up just because we're on this topic. A lot of people. I mean, our chat's like kind of smart, Jake. I don't know what the deal is. This is the internet. This is Pokemon YouTube. We're supposed to say a bunch of like crazy stuff, but a lot of people are like, yeah, like that's why you should take profits when it's a life-changing amount. And people are like, yeah, that's healthy. It lets people get into the market. So yeah, I love our chat.
Yeah, I think that we have, one of the reasons that we like doing what we're doing is because we're in this kind of like, we're in this world of people that are all kind of perceiving things in a relatively similar way.
Yeah.
And maybe that'd be kind of interesting to see, like, if you're in chat right now, and if you haven't commented ever before, please let me motivate you to do so now. Just let us know here in the chat how long you have been, um, seriously collecting Pokemon cards. And seriously, I don't have a specific definition for it, but I think you all kind of know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, it's been a significant portion of where you're spending your time and your money.
Yeah. We'll check out what's going on in the chat in a second here. For me, it's March, Feb 2024, so almost 2 years now. But really, March is when I started going to shows, and something you said earlier really resonated with me. Like that, the sort of flatness was the market that you came into.
Yeah,
I had 4 months of that before the July boom with alt arts. But it
yeah,
was like I loved it. I was like, oh, these prices are stable. I can trust that it's not just going to crash one day. And if I want to buy a Bumblemew for $75 and then I sell it for 85 and I make $10 and then buy another one for 75, like you're not like worried about what you're holding on to between shows. So let's see what folks are saying in the chat. 2019, 3 months in from Full Art Tom, 10K in right now, sealed in slabs. 2021, 2 years, a year, December 2021, 11 years. Gold star for
Star
gold.
Bazaar.
Gold star for Gold Star Bazaar. 2020 for Blast Boost, 6 years. Late 2022, May 2025. So a big range, as you would expect.
Yeah,
But a
yeah,
lot of
and if
folks here, yeah,
if it's less than a year or less than 6 months, like that's nothing. That is, I would say it's nothing to be ashamed of. That saying the word ashamed doesn't even make sense with that conversation. Like we all get involved in different things at different times. Some of it just has to do with your interest. Some of it has to do with your age. Some of it has to do with, the age that you were when you started to make enough disposable income to buy anything other than the bare necessities. We've all been there. And just know that, like, yeah, there's a good amount of us in this chat today that have been involved long enough to see at least like one full bell curve of like market activity in Pokemon cards. And so I think that this is a very well educated and measured group of people that we're talking to right now. But just also know that there's only 300 or so of us in here. And there are millions of people that collect cards. And there are millions of people that want some of these cards. And so, like, the by the law of large numbers, a large portion of the millions of people who are going to want Pokemon cards do not perceive them in the same way that we do, which is something that you could base a store of value on, something that you could use as a serious business venture, something that's worth making lots of content about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I still think we're in the minority here, and that is in my mind long term an incredible tailwind. And so whatever we see over the next 6 months or so, and we're both going to kind of make our best guess on what's going to happen over the next 6 months. I think long term we're still early to the game. If you're here now, you got here in May, you got here in August, you got here last month, I think you're still early.
Love it. Party. Yeah. All good points and agreed. And Charles Trump uses Tailwind. More intelligent stuff in the chat. I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff happening in the chat. I'll pull some of it up. There's some good questions I think we should circle back to in the Q&A, because we're going to kind of stay on this topic for the main topic today. Tiny Flame TCG basically saying like not a lot of people taking it as serious, like this seriously, right? Talking about full spreadsheet. That's how I've actually eased up on my spreadsheet obsession, but very spreadsheety in my first year collecting. Walter, what's up, man? Thanks for watching the content and selling English singles for profit in the local area to rotate profits into what you personally collect, which is Japanese vintage. Like the absolutely based way to do it. It's how I got started.
It's like he's reading your diary.
I love it. I love it. I want more people to do it for this reason. This is just one of the 3 best reasons I can think of to get into selling cards if you're going to collect them. So I love it. Curry asking like this, I think it's a decent question. How come pandemic hype wasn't to the level it is today? My read is that was artificial. It was like not real interest. And this is backed by much more real interest.
Yeah. I hesitate to answer because we're going to dive into the Q&A and I just wouldn't be able to help myself. That's such a huge question. And I love your answer to it. In general, I agree with it. I guess the really short answer to how I feel about that question is the market of people who are willing to be more financially invested in this hobby now compared to then, it's much larger. Your collector base of people with confidence in the hobby is way larger than it was back then.
Okay. Yes. Let's not get carried away and get into our Q&A. I'm just saving some of these because there's some good questions coming throughout the chat. One thing, I think it's a perfect segue into our main topic, which I think we're ready to shift into. Lefty Line Disc saying, sold my sealed collection today. Didn't see any point in just having something worth that much money sit in my basement. And you and I are getting more DMs than ever with people selling off large sealed collections or trying to. It's every day. I DM'd you one today where I was like, hey, look, it's another one that fits the exact bill we were talking about. So we're going to dive in on the main topic, Jake, on a discussion on potential top signals. I said this at the beginning, but we've got like hundreds more people here than we had at the beginning. Jake and I are not coming at this topic of top signals is like really complicated. Like we're not giving ourselves a financial analysis, 2 weeks of financial analysis homework to attempt to do this on a stream for 20 minutes. But
yeah, as much as we love you guys, you don't pay us enough for hedge fund work.
Not yet. I mean, we could see the super chats come through and maybe we change our minds. But as of right now, yeah, we don't get paid enough to do all that. But so we're not coming at this as like with the expert hat on or with like this is financial advice. What we are is 2 guys who are really deep into this hobby. And we have a very front row seat because you and I go to card shows like every 1 or 2 weeks for the last couple of years. We have a very front row seat to like sentiment. We also, as creators, people reach out to us, right? We probably both get a few DMs a day, if not more, depending on the day. Probably average a few DMs a day of people asking questions, of trying to sell things, trying to buy things. Like we have a good read on how the market is feeling. So we're not experts, we're not financial analysts, we're not a hedge fund, but we wanted your help in this discussion. We have some ideas of what top signals might look like and whether or not we've maybe hit some of those. Yeah. People selling off their collections might be a good place to talk about a little bit of that. But we also want your ideas in the chat What? Yeah, did I hear super chat says blast boost?
Blast Boost always coming through with the love.
Right, we got $4.99. We're getting closer to a full-time financial analysts for
Exactly,
this podcast.
$4.09. That's Ricky's hourly rate.
Don't get people excited, Jake. It's much more cutthroat than that. I had one guy say, "Oh, I'm totally not in it for the hobby anymore because I charge for my time if people want to set up time with me." So,
Yeah, dude, come on. You're out here basically just taking money from everyone, and you're what's wrong with the hobby.
I couldn't agree more. So yes, people in the chat are truly understanding what we've said. People are saying we are financial experts. Got it. Oyama Chump, Mad Money, Midweek Hedge Funders is good. Okay. So the chat gets.
Is there a money hungry Pokemon? Oh right, Meowth. It's a midweek Meowths.
The midweek Meowths. You know what, dude? I have one with Meowth in it. You know I have a pun from the Horsey's Meowth.
Oh no.
So now from the Horsey's Meowth, what are the top signals that you and I are seeing? Let's give a few, and the chat will start helping us out with some of their ideas for what are potential top signals and are we seeing them or not? Where do you want to start?
Okay. Hear me out, chat. And again, gather around the fire pit.
Daddy's here. Daddy's here.
Daddy is here. We this one is a bit more, it's a bit more esoteric, okay? But it's this idea of and I think everyone kind of already understands this inherently, but like a top signal would be just everyone feeling the exact same about the market and specifically being euphoric about it, right? Like get involved, any amount of money, you can't lose, buy always. This is the place to put your money. Diversification is a waste of your time, blah, blah, blah. That kind of rhetoric coming from all sides is a top signal. What's the opposite of that, though? And I think that's what I wanted to talk about this first one, which is this idea in investing of a wall of worry. And that's kind of it's a coined term by a financial firm I used to work for. I think, no, they used it, but it was coined, I think, by a famous investor. I think maybe Templeton.
Yeah, Sir John
Templeton.
Is that right?
I think that's who is given credit. Anyways, this idea of a wall of worry is like, as a bull market progresses onwards and upwards, there's going to be naysayers all along the way. There's always going to be people that are bearish. There's going to be people that are worried, tight, tentative, claiming things are in a bubble, claiming things are going to crash. And as long as you have enough people who are on kind of both sides of the belief about what's going to happen over the next, week, month, 6 months, etc., that's pretty that's a natural, healthy sign for a market, that you have people just by either their background or their personality type that they kind of appear on either side. They think it's going to go up or they think it's going to go down. But once you have all people thinking the same thing, that is when I think it's safe to say, when you can see a significant change in trajectory of the market, whether up or down.
Yeah, that euphoria versus fear sort of ratio, right? That's how that wall of worry works, right? I'm not exactly as familiar with that concept. Yeah, man. It's an interesting topic. So where are we on that journey? Where do you think the market is on that journey?
I think that all of the commentary I'm seeing in the hobby it's still giving me bullish vibes, right? Like there's enough people that are skeptical. There's enough people that are selling. There's enough people that think this is, a quote unquote, a bubble, or that, Pokemon always does this. It always just goes up and then retraces, and you end up back exactly where you were. But like the people who have been involved know that like it goes up and it goes down, but long term, the trend is up and to the right. And one thing that my an acquaintance I have now, I finally met him in person, Dan from Catch 'em All Collectibles, who I think was also live tonight. He talks about what's going to happen sooner? Is your item going to double or go down by 40%? And if you think that it still has a chance to double before it goes down 40%, then it's still good to own that thing. And we've seen that with a lot of these booster boxes. It's like, yeah, are we going to see a retracement oftentimes between 10 and 15% from time to time? Yes, but like long term, is it still going to double? Like, what do you guys think is more likely, that Evolving Skies goes to 5K or that Evolving Skies goes to 1400? It's kind of, I think that's kind of, it helps answer that question.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. Another one. So some things in the chat. So someone so Tiny Flame TCG said, example of a top signal. I've seen selective uneasiness from a small percentage of people, more stating that the market will still rocket up. That gives me pause. Reminds you of Bitcoin 2017. And right after that, Shaky Troll said, not people who are not into Pokemon ask about it. This was totally, I got into, I mean, lightly, I got interested in crypto at summer 2017 or early 2017. And it was either Thanksgiving 2017 or 18, if I can't remember, or 19. It was somewhere around there before the pandemic. One of those Thanksgivings, my grandma literally came to Thanksgiving and asked about Bitcoin. And me and my dad were just looking at each other. We're like, top signal. Like, that is,
it's over.
It's the top. It's the top. My grandma's asking about Bitcoin. So yeah, that is kind of an interesting one. Yeah, people who are not actually connected in any way to the hobby or don't really have a history in it asking about it and really coming at it from a place of like financial gain.
Yeah, I hear that, but then a quick caveat on that comment from Tiny Flame. It's like, oh, this kind of reminds me of Bitcoin from 2017. Okay, what was Bitcoin at its peak in 2017?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, we can look at the chart. I think it was a couple $1,000s around then. It might have gone up to 2017, 2018. By 2018, it went up to 20K or something. I'm not
I
like
remember 2018 it was at 20 or so.
Let's take a look. So 2017 Bitcoin was in this like 1 to 2. So it was around here that I got interested in crypto. It was like 1,700 or so per Bitcoin. And then it did go up to about 20. So that it was 2017. It was Thanksgiving. Look at this jump. This is the Thanksgiving. This is exactly what I was saying. Grandma asks about Bitcoin. It doubles on itself. It like triples on itself. It 10x's from where it was a couple months before. And then it comes back down. But it goes from 1K to 19K. So it 20x's. And then it comes down by a little over half. And then it kind of flattens out and it comes down by another half, but it's still double from where it was 2 years ago. And I mean, obviously, we need to go through the whole entire history of Bitcoin. It's not really what this podcast is about. But yeah, the healthy market of it goes up and then it goes down and then it goes up and then it goes flat. And like, this is what we were talking about for a lot of this show, right?
Yeah. No, I'm looking at this chart and I'm just thinking, man, that looks a lot like the future of the sealed collection that Ricky has in his storage unit.
And you know what's funny, man? I went to the storage unit today after taking my dog to the vet. The storage unit was pretty close. And I grabbed a few things and brought them back home because I was like, I just want these at home now. So I'm moving them around. I'm always moving things around. But yeah, there's some things in that unit.
I love that.
We'll see. I really don't like it. I mean, it's unbelievable. We talked about the taking profits thing. I have a case of Lost Origin that I bought at MSRP in April 2024 from Pokemon Center. So it's like $924 taxes and shipped. And it's like, they're like $6,000 now. So that's an example of like, I'm probably going to try to sell that. Like I had written down in my spread. What?
You should keep it. I know you've told me this a couple of times, but like, I got to stop biting my tongue. Like, you got to keep it.
Why?
Things that, like, when your cost basis is so low, like, yes, there's a reason to sell, but like, unless you need that money, it's so strong, and you could make that same amount flipping a couple of cards that you got that you graded. Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying. It's so funny. This goes right counter to your take profits advice from like 30 minutes ago.
I hear you. But at the same time, you're also someone that's can take profits from multiple types of things.
I get you.
You know,
I get you. I guess the point I'm trying to make with that is, and I'm not like trying that hard to sell it, obviously. You know, it's not like I'm posting every day on Instagram. I don't have it listed anywhere. It's more just that I had written down in my spreadsheet that I bought that case for the appreciation. It's not beautiful to look at. It's a cardboard box. I bought it thinking it's going to be worth something later. And I had written down that if it goes up to $3,000, I'm buying more Lost Origin cases. Hey, Blast Boost, hit me up. It's a clean case. What was I saying? Yeah, I'd written down, like I'd written down in the spreadsheet, like this is the number I would sell at. And that number was $3,000. Because if over the course of 10 years, something triples, it still beats like traditional markets. So I was like, it'd be fun to have a box of stuff. And maybe in 8 years, it'll be worth $3,000. And in 1 year, it was worth $6,000. So there's some part of me that wants to be disciplined about it. Anyway, let's get back to the main topic, which is that discussion on top signals. Another one that you and I have kind of alluded to a couple times here, and it's one of the ones I find really interesting right now, is just how many people are looking to liquidate collections that are exactly $100,000 in value.
Yeah.
There's this, like, it hits that 6-figure number and people start looking for a buyer. And this would, I don't think, prior to a month ago, I don't think I had anybody ever reach out to me with a collection, a single purchase offer in the 6 figures range. I bought 10K collections, 20K, I bought a bunch of 10K collections, but $100,000 at once or whatever, right? $105,000. And in the last month or two, I'd say twice a week, I get approached with a collector screenshot for $103,000 I'm looking to sell.
Yeah.
And I brought this up to you and you're like, that's such a good point. I'm seeing the exact same thing. People are hitting 100K and they want to sell. And we saw a friend of ours, Johto Jake, posted something on behalf of someone else who's looking to sell 100K. And I DM'd it to you. I was like, look, $100,000 collection someone's trying to liquidate.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? And it's these people with often limited experience. They don't often, these aren't usually people with lots of selling channels.
Yeah.
What do we think of this trend? Is it a top signal?
There's so much to say about this, right? Like, and there's many factors. I think one of the factors is minor market slowdown. People aren't as anxious to sell when things are going, meteorically up in value. They're much more likely to buy, right? And we see this. Like, you go to a card show, Bubble Mew just hit all-time highs, and hard to believe you can't keep Bubble Mew in stock at your table because people are like, they want to get a piece of that action. They want to ride the wave now that it's proven that it's going up, right? And oftentimes people buy too late. But on the flip side, they don't necessarily want to sell when it's still going up. They kind of want to sell when things have evened off a bit, which is what we've seen in the last week or so. But I think even more than that, if I think about the marketplace of people who are involved in this hobby, I think, what if a lot of them are just like me and they're in the age of like 22 to 35.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the people in that range are, pretty much out of college and making an adult salary and have enough money to be spending on kind of comparatively niche luxuries like Pokemon cards, especially. And I know luxury is kind of a taboo word, but like when it's up to the 6-figure range, like, this is a luxury item, a luxury pursuit. If I think about that kind of person, some of them are extremely well off and making so much money that it doesn't matter, and they just buy things and buy things and buy things, for sure. But many of those people are coming from households where their parents didn't have 6 figures of assets in their 20s and 30s. And if they did, it was basically just their house, and they were just dumping the majority of their disposable income into their house and then their cars and then just affording life. But in this generation, they've got all of this, disposable income, and they're spending it on these things. And it's in this asset that, like, it feels too good to be true. And they've never had 6 figures of cash available
Yep.
before.
Off
They've
the
never
yep.
had that balance in their bank account before.
Yep. Yep.
And so before the kind of the clock strikes 12 and things change and the dream ends, they're wanting to liquidate. And what they're kind of estimating is that they want to get out while the getting is good, and they feel like they can do more with that money elsewhere than keeping it involved and invested in the hobby.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of those people right now. And sometimes
Mhm.
there's certain thresholds where that just becomes so apparent, and that threshold changes depending on who you are and where you come from and the amount of money that you make and the amount of money you've ever had before. For some people, that's 10K. For some people, it's 100. And like you said, some of these screenshots we're seeing, it's not like 112,000. It's not 128,000. It's 100,000 and $200 worth of collector portfolio, and they're ready to liquidate. It's like
Yep.
it's like
Yep.
they had an alarm on their phone tied to their app.
Yep. No, I mean, you raise a good point, and we talked a little bit about this the other day too. Like, this is that is for a lot of people more money than they've ever seen, or because of the appreciation being so too good to be true this year, that maybe an investment that was previous. People did this with crypto. I did this with crypto. I put like 5K into crypto and it became 50. And at the time I was 24 years old. I was like, oh God, like that's way too much of my net worth in this incredibly speculative, volatile thing. And like I took money off the table. It's like, and that's just my personality, is like I wanted, house money and stuff. But like, yeah, there's like, some people put, like Luke Redden here said 100K in compounding starts to do its thing. This is like very conventional wisdom. But the basic math on this of like, if you make 100K, let's say you sell 100K Pokemon cards and you dump that in VT Sax or VU, right? Matching the stock market index. The conventional wisdom on this is that doubles roughly every 7 to 10 years. So if you
Right.
are 30 right now and you could get $100,000 out of Pokemon cards and you have never seen $100,000 before, and you want to retire a millionaire, this actually gives you access to that. $100,000 at 30, again, huge asterisk, barring crazy bull runs and huge crashes, and the timing matters. The day you turn 60, there could be a crash or whatever. But under normal historical S&P 500 type market conditions, that 100K, if you're 30 and you dump it all right now into one of these S&P index funds, will be about $1 million at 60 years old. If you're 30
Yep.
right now, it'll go 100 to 200 by the time you're 40, 200 to 400 by the time you're 50, 400 to 800 by the time you're 60. And that's on the conservative, like 7-ish, 6 to 7% a year type of compounding. So yeah, like there's an argument to be made here that if and like some people, like the person who said earlier, they had a bunch of sealed that they just sold. It was sitting in their basement. It was worth too much. Like, I don't know that person's situation, but like if that person has, a net worth of a couple $100,000, and then a third of that is, a third of it is Pokemon cards. Like, if you're not enjoying, if it's like making it hard for you to enjoy it, it would be prudent to invest that. And like Tiny Flames said here, 100K is what, 80K. I think they mean like maybe after percentage, like once you've sold it, fees and stuff. So yeah, that's true. It's 100K is not 100K net, but yeah, it's a house down payment in a lot of places in the world. It could be it's an amazing wedding, or it's part of a house down payment and a wedding, right? A few tens of thousands of dollars will put on a great wedding, and the other few tens of thousands might get your whole life started. You should prioritize that over cardboard that can be stolen or damaged that you're not enjoying anyway, that maybe is stressing you out because it's such a huge percentage of your net worth. So anyway, it is, but it is interesting. Like it does feel slightly top signal-ish to me, that there are this many people that when they hit that number, they're like, I can't even look at it anymore.
Yeah. It's like it's just burning a hole in your pocket. It's like when you're a kid and you've got $50 from your grandma. It's like I've never seen as much money in my life. And I guess, like I said, it just kind of comes back to, what are you hoping to achieve long term? And that's going to kind of dictate what you're going to end up doing with your, all the value that's been created. But Yeah, definitely I would say it's a top signal in general when you have more sellers than buyers. Um, but and yet, I think that something that might deflate some of that sell off is just when people learn how much work it can be.
Hmm.
It can be work to sell,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this before, how like the speed at which you want to sell is going to impact the amount that you're going to get. It's a lot more like, winning the lottery, and like if you want the lump sum now, you're going to get like 40% of that top line number or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Obviously in Pokemon people are offering more than 40%, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's there can be some reality checks there for sure as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think about it even as somebody who I consider myself like I'm pretty decent at selling things. I've always been able to sell things, and I've gotten good at selling Pokemon cards. I have a lot of ways to sell Pokemon cards. I know a lot of people who I could liquidate to if I wanted to, and I still look at all the sealed stuff, and especially, and I'm like, what if I ever had to sell this like a piece at a time? This would take forever.
Yeah.
This would be tough. Oh yeah, Pokebro JT. I mean, this is a good friend of mine. He's becoming a great friend of mine. It's awesome. Yeah, I bought 30K of cards over him over the last couple of years. We always making easy, good deals. And he funded his wedding, bought his little sister a car, went on vacations. And it's just sort of like this cyclical thing, right? He's probably not burning that much net money. He's enjoying the hobby and engaging with it in different ways. And he's quick to buy and sell things and not get too attached. And he's I think probably right now, JT, or I would guess, tell me if I'm wrong, I would guess pretty focused in your collection of PSA 10 cards. Probably not a massive collection right now, but yeah, this is you should prioritize those things. Someone said, keep stating this is not financial advice. We're not streaming on TikTok. We have said it, but yeah, sure, we'll say it again. We are definitely not coming at this from the point of view of experts, and not this is not financial advice. We're not a hedge fund, as much as some of the super chats might have come up with amazing hedge fund names earlier. We are just two guys with a finger on the pulse who are talking with the chat about the kind of ridiculous amount of money that's floating around in this cardboard game.
Yeah, and on that last topic, Ricky, like the liquidity of these things is still so insane.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, you and I did that challenge. I brought back those 5 slabs to my table. 3 of them sold within an hour, and I didn't even put a sticker on them. Like people just asked, like at my table, like, "Hey, show me the slabs you have in the back." And I'm like, "Okay." They still had the other vendors' stickers on them. And then the other 2 sold just this past weekend in Chicago. Like,
Well, yeah.
there's tons of money moving back and forth. The market is strong. Some things pull back, but
Yeah.
I'm still involved.
Me too. And as I said earlier, and I think you and I probably feel similarly on this, uh, particularly if it's like relatively flat and sort of like a little more predictable. I love operating as a flipper or whatever, a reseller in a market like that, because it just brings me so much comfort. Like, not, I don't know, it's the psychological thing, the loss gain fallacy thing. I forget what it's called, but it hurts more, the fear of like losing value or losing money or losing a thing, whatever, let's just say losing money, hurts more than the how much you enjoy gaining it. And that's how I feel. Like if I have $10,000 of Pokemon cards, it's a little interesting, like you said, it's a dopamine hit to see it go to $20,000 in value, but it's not that exciting to me at this point. And but the fear of it going down from 10,000 to 5,000 before my next show, I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
If the fear were just maybe it goes down to 9,500 or whatever, I'd be like, great, whatever, let's make our 10 to 20% margins and have a great time and give things away and whatever. But yeah, the conditions of the last 9 months or 10 months or whatever made it weird. It's just weird. It's better when it's flat.
Yeah, and on that same topic, man, like the people that have done and are doing the best and taking the most advantage of a strong market are the people that learned to scratch and claw during the level or down market. Like obviously there's the scalper people that are opportunist, but like the long-standing card shop owners and the people that have like established eBay channels, the people that were willing to create vending platforms and this kind of stuff before all of the hype ensued, like those people are absolutely killing it because they had systems in place, and all this market is gasoline on a fire. And for those of you who are, interested in being involved long term, just keep refining your systems. Like one thing I'm going to start talking about, and you're going to hear me talk about more and more, guys, is I am optimizing and preparing and working and building systems for the next boom. Because I personally love this hobby. I'm wearing a freaking Dialga Palkia shirt. I love being here. I love the people. I love the content. I love the IP. I love the cards and the games and all of it. I love all of it. And so I'm going to be involved for the long term. And what I've seen is the people that are well ahead of me are the people that created the systems that they're using now 5-10 years ago. And that's going to be me 5-10 years from now, because I've learned how to do things before this boom, during this boom, after this boom, and before the next boom, and during the next boom, et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of the work that I'm doing now.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, gosh, there's so many, we want to keep this conversation tight. There's so many places my head's going after that. One of the things you and I talked about, and maybe we kind of wrap on this before Q&A, is the number of newcomers that had heavy leverage, and then they got into the reselling, and they're fueling their collection with debt. And there's people with this limited knowledge and experience. And it goes right to the point that you're just making now, which is also actually related to something I loved this note from Summit here too. Collectors refocus on what they love. Casual flippers leave. Prices stabilize. It's a cleansing cycle. It builds long-term sustainability. Exciting for the future Pokemon. Super well put, and totally right in line with all the things, pretty much everything we've been saying today, which is,
yes.
Yeah, like, sure, there's some top signals, sure, but like the people who actually are going to be here for the long haul as collectors, as businesses, as side hustles, as whatever, as all of the above or some of the above. Like you said, they build systems. What is it? Rough seas make great sailors. Like, bring it on. Like the ones that'll be here, like you 5-10 years from now, are the ones that are already thinking ahead and building systems for that. So I love it.
Yeah. And if I can give one piece of advice for those of you with burgeoning businesses in this industry, one of the things that I have been doing is to prepare my business financially for times of less plenty, comparatively less plenty. And so, put yourself in a position where if things aren't as liquid as they have been, then you're still going to be okay. And whether that's lifestyle creep and paring it back and not being so liberal, small L liberal with your spending, or if it's just, the pace of growth on your business. We all want to capitalize and make hay while the sun's out. But if you're interested in having a business and being involved for the long term, make that hay, but also put that hay in the barn.
Love it. I've never heard that. Make hay while the sun is shining. Put that hay in the barn. Yeah.
Yep.
Love it. It so resonates with me. I mean, this is how this type of talk about it just brings a smile to my face. This is exactly how
it's like, yes, conversation about measured decisions and planning. That's exactly what I want to do on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. My wife married me because I'm so dangerous. That's really, it's really what she likes about me.
That's what Franny's also a big fan of yours as well, because you think similarly. You have a little bit of risk aversion, and you want to be planned and well thought out and make really wise decisions. And yeah, so you're definitely like that. I need to be more like you, a little bit less risky.
I was telling this is off topic, but now we're riffing. I think that pretty much, I think, is a good conversation on the top signals before we go to Q&A. I was telling my wife after hanging out with you, I was like, I seem to be a magnet for people like Jake. Like, a lot of my friends are like you. And for whatever it is, I don't know if this is like, if you feel like you're a magnet for people like me or Franny. And it's not an opposites attract sort of thing. It's there's much more overlapping similarity and like being cut from a similar cloth there. But like a lot of my friends are a little more extroverted and a little bit more spontaneous and a little bit more like risk takery than I am. And I think but they're like, their heads are screwed on and they're just fun to be around. They don't take themselves too seriously, but they're making real adult decisions with their life. And so many of my friends, or my closest friends, are just like this. And I guess that, by extension, that makes me like that to them. I think I help ground people like you, and you help expose people like me to things that I might have otherwise stayed inside and ignored on my own.
I completely agree, and it's the exact right pairing, right? Whether for business or for other reasons. Yeah, you need someone that is more a little bit more safe, and someone that's a little bit more risky, and but also like, yeah, there's a lot of other similarities that make it a really good pairing as well. It's like we're friends or something.
It's almost like that.
Yeah.
It's similar.
We're charmeandering.
That's good. RDL in the chat. We're not riffing. We're charmeandering. I'm writing it down. Charmeandering is pretty good.
That is good.
I like charmeandering. It's going in the list. We have a list, y'all.
All right, y'all. Well, we are putting that list together. We have been here for an hour and 40 minutes, and we want to get to some Q&A.
Yeah.
Whether it's about top signals or otherwise, we had a bunch of questions already come through the chat. We want to be here for a little while longer, hang out with you guys. So let's get some Q&A going.
Yep. So I'm just going to kind of start picking through them at random. I've starred 29 comments. So if you have a great question, throw it in the chat now. We'll try to get to everyone, or as many of these as we can. We probably won't get to everyone. Just the dude 90. If the market starts to go down, do you think that the percentage you buy at would also decrease?
Of course. It has to. Even in any market, a vendor or someone buying a collection or whatever, a game store, they are accounting for relative risk in their purchase and their willingness to purchase something. And that's not unique to Pokemon. That takes place in the stock market and in everything, right? Like there's going to be a bid and ask system, and maybe it's more formalized in financial markets, but like as things trend down, the offer for your goods gets lower. And you would think, like, doesn't matter who you are. Like if I wanted to go sell something to someone, like just because we're friends doesn't mean that they're going to like willingly take on unnecessary financial risk for me. Like we're talking about a business decision for every person involved.
Yeah. My answer was also a strong yes, with the added context that because of the state of the current market, a lot of my buy percentages have gone up, and so have my sell percentages.
Yeah.
To make those things work, I can more consistently sell at 95 to 105% of market for almost anything I've got than I was able to a year ago. And therefore, when something great comes to my table, I know that there's 100 vendors in that room and I'm competing with all of them, and someone in there will pay 85%. So to compete with that, I have to pay 80 to 85% on good stuff. And but also, doing the buyer POV stuff, my anchor, like I made a video a year and a half ago, like tips for buyers at card shows. And I told everyone to anchor at 80% or 85% as your base offer, and expect to move to like 85 or 90%. And if I were to redo that video now, and I've thought about doing it, I would have to revise that up. Like 85% is essentially has been a low ball for all of 2025. But 85% was a totally reasonable thing. I was buying at 85% all the time as a card show attendee in 2024. So yeah, I mean, the asterisk there is, yes, I would adjust down also, but I adjusted up in response to the market moving up. I just go back to what it was like before.
Yeah. And another thing you mentioned in your video, if I remember right, Ricky, is like when you're thinking about the offers and the price points you might be able to give people, it's not in a vacuum of what the market's doing either. It's also in relationship to what your business is up to and the relative overhead costs.
Yep.
And like most people kind of generally accept, like a game store isn't going to offer you as high as someone who doesn't have the overhead of a physical brick and mortar location more often than not. But we just have to decide, like, is someone owning a brick and mortar location of a value to me and the community generally, and therefore I'm willing to sell to them or, whatever. And that's just how it is. Like everyone's going to be in their own situation, and you got to make the deal that makes the most sense for you. Sometimes it's about speed, sometimes it's about relationships and trust, sometimes it's about maximizing your dollar. It's all different every time you buy and sell.
Yep, well put. I did say that it's a different video. You're thinking of a different video, but I have also said that in a video. I'm just hopping around here, so I'm kind of like trying to pick some from earlier in the chat and more recent ones. Mythical Bidoof earlier asked, "Do you guys see many people buying gray felt hats at 2K?"
I've sold gray felt hats at 2K. I've seen vendors buy them when they were valued at 2K. Obviously, they're being bought all the time on eBay, so I'm not quite sure. Like, yes.
I have one. I had it priced at like 2.2 or something. So I think people still buying this, but there's a lot of this card. So the competition of like being the person to sell it quickly at 2K. I don't think they're like ultra liquid at this price right now. Not like they were when they were under $1,000, but yeah, people buying them. Obviously, the data's there. Let's see. Someone asked, this one's kind of random. Someone asked this twice, I think, Junior Silva. Are we engineers? We have strong first principles, very tactical, strategic. Jake and I both come from the go-to-market side or the business side of tech and corporate. So thanks. I think it's a compliment. That's what you're picking up on. But it's more like the sales and customer-facing side of things rather than the technical side.
I think what he's referring to, Ricky, is your skills in social engineering.
Okay, so dumb. This is stupid. Are you accusing me of being the guy that did the big old robbery that I talked about earlier? Is that?
Yeah, it's in your best interest to kind of like,
talk about it on a podcast and
paint a gray area about it, whether or not it even happened at all in reality. Like
unbelievable. Well, hey, thanks for all the financial advice that you gave in this podcast, Jake. Our friends here are buying sealed cases of Vivid Voltage at 110%. Hashtag Hay and Barn. That is all you and your financial advice. What I said was not financial advice. What Jake said was.
Hello, Loot. That is one of the plays of all time. That is one of the things that you could have bought. I will say, whoever sold you those cases at 110% of market, they must be a hell of a salesman.
I love it. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. So J Reezy one. J R Easy. Thanks for the super chat. TCG shows I'm going to are thriving. Market is healthy for true collectors. Agree. You and I have experienced this. Card party was incredible.
Card party was popping, guys.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was so much fun and something for everybody. Yeah, just can't say enough good things. I loved how close the hotel block was to the venue. Like it's different if you're vending, but as an attendee, if you could just leave for like an hour, I left for 2 hours at one point, came back. It was so nice. Also, Garchomp, I got the PSA DNA 10 on the Garchomp you site. Are you PSA certified, Jake?
I think I'm certified. Yeah,
you're PSA certified.
I can't promise that anything that I have signed is going to help your card value, but it seems like they will authenticate it, guys.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome.
Is that a top signal?
Dude, it's a top signal. Obviously it's a top signal.
We're at the top, guys. This is the top. Sell now. Sell all of your PSA 10 Garchomp signed by Jarchomp.
Oh man. That's cool, man. Congrats. That is, I think that's really cool. Yeah, it's pretty baller.
That is cool. Also, I guess a quick side note. Really grateful for everybody who enjoys the channel and wants to come and get a card or a binder signed. Really appreciate you guys. I'm going to make a video about this, but as of next week, I will have been full-time in this hobby for exactly a year. Wow. And it's been so much work and so much fun, so much travel, and really grateful for all of it. Thank you guys for all the support.
Love that. Okay, I'm seeing we're getting some good recent questions too. Just I'm not the fastest reader of all time, so give me a sec. Alcyon Collectibles. Yeah.
As a new vendor, is it smart to try and get all PSA 10s of the top Sergeant Shield cards while also trying to build my inventory for shows? Any other advice for content and shows will be helpful. What's funny, you say that Alcyon Collectibles. I don't know how it's pronounced your name there, but that's kind of what I was doing. Like my second iteration of the slab wall was to just get a whole bunch of PSA 10 alt arts, full arts, illustration rares, etc. up on the wall, and I just kind of like slowly pulled them out of my business inventory and put them up on the wall after each show. But because I had become a bit more collector focused, I started to pull more out of my business inventory than was probably smart, just by nature of like the value of my inventory. But then the market boomed on all these cards. And so, like, the answer to your question is it's impossible to say, because maybe putting these cards to the side is the best thing you could do in the short term because they're going to boom. And then, all the work you would have done to like buy and sell and flip and buy and sell and flip those cards into other cards is kind of a moot point because they just all went up at the same time. But in general, I think you should have a balance as a vendor of what's in your personal collection and what's in your business inventory, so that you're always having fun collecting and you're always having successful shows as often as you can. And that's not an exact number. That's kind of a relative number based on your goals and your experience.
Love it. A lot of good wisdom. A lot of free game in this pod. Tell your friends. Is it smart to try and get all PSA 10s of the top Sword and Shield cards while also trying to build my inventory? I'm like having a hard time interpreting that part of the question. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not 100% sure what's getting asked there.
It seems a little bit like a collector play, but also like kind of a speculative play,
Yeah,
because like top cards and Sword and Shield, like we're talking about, a generation ago, and they're all pretty valuable and they're kind of long term. Are they long term going to be kind of strong? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. Okay. Shaky Troll, how much of the current market boom would you guys attribute to the increased Poke influencer visibility? Anecdotally, me and a bunch of friends noticed a massive change in what algorithms are pushing.
No, I think it's chicken and egg. I think it's the other way around. I think influencers follow the interest and therefore capitalize on where the interest already exists. I don't think that tubers are pushing. I think they're being pulled by the market more often than not.
Yeah. I'm trying to decide. I haven't thought about this super strongly before. I think that's generally true. I mean, my YouTube algorithm, YouTube is in an interesting, there's a bit of a meta right now where like the algorithm really actually tries to push unknown creators. So you probably notice more than in the past, like over the past year, you'll get a video from like that has like 7 views or like 100 views. Like it's really trying out like all these different creators. And I've just seen there's been a recent uptick in my algorithm on YouTube on low visibility channels that are talking about market content.
Yeah,
Will go up. This will go up. This is crashing. Is this the crash? Like that thing. I think Jake's spot on. Those are propping up because of the market more than the other way around. They are pulled. People are making content that they believe other people want to see based on what's happening already in the macro. They're not dictating it. I think I think you're 100% right. Blast Boost, thanks again for the support with the super chat. For someone who wants to grow exponentially, would you put 1/3 of your wages into product, assuming you don't have debt? They see the history of the growth of Pokemon and they are confident.
this is a question of exact financial advice, and I probably shouldn't answer this, Blast Boost. Here's what I'll just say what I'm doing, and in general terms, and then you can extrapolate if you want. I am in the Pokemon business, and so a large portion of what I'm working on is going to fund more Pokemon business and to create more opportunities in the future for that same kind of business. And so a lot of the increase that we're seeing in our business, we're not trying to realize in cash. We're trying to realize it in the form of more inventory for the future. But that's the situation I'm in. Now, like, you can speculate how you want to, but I guess another way to answer this question is, why would it be a third over a fourth or a fifth or half or whatever it may be? Like, I think what you're trying to get at is, um, could this be a strong play in the future? And the answer is, if the hobby stays strong and the cards stay valuable, of course. And I feel like the hobby will stay strong. So that's probably the best I can say.
The advice of someone who is pokey-brained, not financial advice.
Yes.
My also less pokey-brained, but overall still extremely pokey-brained non-financial advice would be, if you were my friend and you were thinking of doing this, one of my first questions would be, what is your current financial situation and what are you optimizing for? I think if you don't have debt, but you also have like a very low net worth, let's just say, I don't know. I don't want to put a number on very low because even that's relative. Let's just say if you're a friend of mine and you have a net worth, a positive net worth of under $100,000, I would probably tell you get to the $100,000 first through traditional methods, like secure that future. If you're in your 20s or 30s, especially, you got that time. Do that compounding thing we were talking about. That's like pretty tried and true. Odds of that working out for you and you not regretting it are good. If you've got $1 million net worth and you're pretty stable and you've got a low interest rate mortgage or no mortgage or a paid off house or whatever, and you're now in the zone of like, I just want to like speculate and diversify, and you're looking at it as an asset class, sure, you could put something like a third or half of your wages into Pokemon product if you know what you're doing and know what you're getting into and know how to sell it later. Generally speaking, though, this is not the right move for a lot of people. And it's kind of related to the whole thing we were talking about earlier, people using debt and leverage and not having built sales channels, not, fly by night folks that aren't building the systems to ride out the future. Anyone who saw their collector app or their shiny app go flat for 3 days and they actually had a pang of emotion about it, those are there's a lot of people doing this right now that need to get checked. And a lot of people are in that bucket and would not be a good candidate for this. That's my not financial advice.
Yeah. Everyone's in their own situation.
Yes, they are. Pokemon JT, what do you guys win for the competition, or is that a surprise? We didn't actually really put, it's bragging rights and glory.
Yeah. I think it really came down to like, who's a Pokemon master?
That is the stakes you put at the beginning of the video. That is exactly, you say that in the first minute of the video.
Yeah. If you guys remember, like, you get to the end of the Elite Four and surprise, surprise, you beat Lance and then you walk through the doors and Gary Oak is standing there and he's got the best team of all time. The feeling that he is feeling at that moment before you challenge him, that's the prize. The feeling of being the best ever, specifically with his haughty expression and windswept hair.
Well said. I mean, there's nothing you could put up for grabs that would motivate me more or make me more afraid of what happens 2 weeks from now when we look at the market values on the things that we bought.
Yeah, I know you're a true collector, so you don't really care about money. So it'd have to be something much more ego tickling than that.
Hilarious. Jaden Caudio says, it's been great to see your friendship evolve over the episodes. I agree. I also feel that it's been great to feel our friendship evolve over the episodes.
Yeah, me too. I got the warm fuzzies.
Me too. It's the friends we made along the way at the end of the day, is it not?
Exactly. Yeah. If my collector app goes to negative 500,000, at least I still have Ricky.
Negative 500,000.
Yeah, it's all those credit cards I maxed out. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. Not financial advice. Let's take a few more before we wrap it up. We're just about to hit 2 hours. Mr. Lawn Gnome, thoughts on multiple companies taking advantage of the Pokemon craze, like Graded Guard mystery boxes, Vault-X Pokemon themed binders, Pokemon Hershey's Kisses, Pokemon Time magazine. I have thoughts on this. You or me first.
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't want to be involved with the hottest stuff? Very predictable for all of this to happen. And if I'm a company, who is in the business of making retail products like this, then I'm probably hoping to do synergistic moves like this with really hot IPs. This happens all over every industry. But I think the one I want to talk about the most here is this mystery box / mystery pack industry that's happening. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Arena Club, or I think Fanatics just launched one. They're almost all. I think Rare Candy has one. Almost every platform has some sort of a mystery pack, digital open pack, and you either get your item delivered to you, or it goes to some sort of a vault, and you can have them send it to you, or all this kind of stuff. This is a huge, huge industry, and it rivals in a lot of ways the sports betting industry from an ease of liquidity standpoint. And just be aware that, like, that's what it is. It's like a little bit of collectible gambling, and if you're okay with that, then like get involved and like gamble a little bit. But just be aware that like the house always wins in gambling, and you might win sometimes, but like the house always wins. And so it just depends on kind of what your goals are and how much money you should be spending on these kinds of things, how much you should get involved. Sorry, that's kind of a side tangent.
That was all related. You and I talked about it. I mean, yeah, that's the inner workings of those businesses is really, really fascinating, and not a game for me to get into personally, but really interesting. And it's interesting how it moves the market. Yeah. My reaction to this was my brain went a different direction with this. I think the Pokemon licensed stuff is really different. This is as we've said many times, highest grossing media franchise in human history. They do not hate money. They are not terrible at printing it. A lot, I think, like more than half of their many billions in revenue is like licensing and franchising. Like it's licensing out the IP. It's letting Hershey, whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but Hershey's Kisses with Pokemon on them. Guess who makes a lot of money on those? Pokemon. Time magazines, whatever. That's all, like it's all interconnected. I think the like the graded guards and Voltexes, like companies that are, Dragon Scale, whatever, companies that are making accessories, to me is a little bit of the shovels in a gold rush thing.
Yes.
It's totally valid as well, right? People who make supplies related to the gold rush also tend to win. And especially if they're doing it the right way, there's a lot of these companies that are making great products at great price points, and people like them, and everything's super like above board and for the collectors, and they're just right place, right time, right marketing, right strategy.
Yes.
Those they're making shovels during the gold rush, making picks during the gold rush. Not unique to this world, but
Yeah,
the licensing is
I love what you said there, Ricky. And like for those who are not familiar, like this does happen in every industry. Like if you think about like Amazon, right? Like how many multi millionaires have been created because they have tapped into the Amazon interface, the Amazon ecosystem of selling products through Amazon as a third party seller. Like their entire business, there's no way it would have worked without that platform. And so it's the same here, right? Like there's something to be said about businesses that can exist as little barnacles on the whale of larger businesses, and they're legitimate, and they serve a purpose, and they provide a good service, and they probably don't stand the test of time, but neither do human beings. We all pass away, and so make your money while you're alive, and that it's perfectly okay.
You went a totally different direction at the end there than I thought you were gonna.
No, I just think that some people like, and again, this is a rabbit hole. I think that some people get caught up on like certain business types, and it's like, oh, like it's not legitimate because you're only here because of something else, and it's like,
Oh yeah,
but like, why run that comparison? Like we're all only here because of something else. It's all it's all just part of an ecosystem.
Oh, totally. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's not just the people who are doing the drop shipping and FBA and stuff on Amazon. There's like entire businesses that are doing well that are designed to help people like use Amazon products. There's like AWS consultancies. Like you can make millions of dollars just being that barnacle. It's still a multi-million-dollar barnacle. So funny analogy, but I like it.
Thanks, Wind Waker. Not every take is going to be directly from you know, my wallet of brilliant ideas, but I will say I do have a cold today, and I've done pretty well. So I'm going to like my own live stream. Thank you very much.
Okay, hang on. You are crushing it for having a cold, by the way. I really am impressed. I'm not non-facetiously, but this is an amazing roast on, like, you said a lot of great things in there, but this is another iconic like bit for us that we're gonna have to come back to. This is just like we're all on the spectrum of health. Which keeps coming back, and we keep finding fun ways to explain how we're all on the spectrum of health and make your money while you're alive. It's so good. Dude, I'm crying. It's so
Oh
good.
man, if I can't get roasted, then you know what's the fun? It's all important.
Oh, that's so good. No, but seriously, real talk though, I being sick sucks, and I was like, dude, do you want to reschedule it or whatever? And you're like, nah, man,
I'm just
good.
insecure because like I've only been able to breathe through my mouth this whole time, and so I'm hoping that like I haven't had like this like snort noise that you guys have had to hear the whole night.
You've actually been good, man, on
Good.
my end. Yeah,
Good.
Yeah. I'd say we're probably around at time, right? Do we want to call it there? Are there any questions in the start that are calling you right now, Jake?
No, we've got an elite forecast to get to.
Yep, we do. Wind Waker's cooking in the chat
Wind
right
Waker's
now.
got the bangers, but remember, Wind Waker, you have the safety of your keyboard. If you were live, not everything that would come out of your mouth would be as sharp as these cool sentences you're typing into the chat. All right.
Wow, why do you hunt him down like that?
It's not as easy as it looks out here.
No, it's not. But yeah, maybe the real top signal. You know what? I get what they're doing. Real top signals are the friends we made along the way. Absolutely not. This to me is it really is the underlying fabric. I've said it so many times. The friends we made along the way really aren't the true top signals. All the other things we talked about might be, but it's not financial advice. Nothing we said today was financial advice.
Oh, the people are saying that we got to get out of here before I absolutely implode and ruin my entire image on the internet here. What did we just get?
This is crazy. Yeah,
What is this? Truly inspiration. Every time I upload is thanks to you, envy the community you guys have built. Yo, thank you so much for your well wishes and your kind words and your super chat, my friend. Hopefully we get to cross paths one day if we haven't already.
Very generous. Jake owes you a nice deal in your favor the next time you cross paths in person.
Yeah, and I'm good for those. Ask Ricky.
He actually is. There's video footage. I might or might not post it someday.
Yeah, you don't want anybody to know that I'm not actually that evil, Coop.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to make a good short. It's not a viral short. You cutting me a great deal for all of our when is the grappling round happening?
Stay tuned. We're gonna do our elite forecast, and then we'll tell you guys who the guest is for next week.
Let's do it. Okay, elite forecast for me. I think it's so in line with what we were talking about all day, but it is looking more and more like the people who know more than me believe that this quarter is going to be relatively stagnant value-wise, with some consolidation happening, which again, I've said before, I welcome it. I think the current interest level, we've talked about tailwinds a lot. The game, the 30th anniversary. There's just so much happening. The feeling in the room, the attendance at things like Card Party and Collecticon. This is not going anywhere. We're not in front of a crash, but I do think a 10%-ish retrace on all the big stuff. So we're talking booster boxes and UPCs through end of year, like the 151 UPC is like $600 something. It would be totally appropriate for that thing to be $500 in December. And I wouldn't feel anything about seeing it do that. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Those were $90 in Costco shelves like a year ago. So that would be healthy retracement. I could see it accelerating a little bit. The retracement, like it could be flat and then maybe it dips a little closer to the holidays. The timing there, the thought there would be that people maybe sell things. People start to liquidate things as they notice that it's flat and it might not gain value for them in the near term, and they can get some money for the holidays, whether it's travel or gifts or things like that. And they can use those. And some people will use it as a buying opportunity, right? Like if you didn't want to buy and open a $300 whatever UPC, prismatic UPC, but for 200, maybe you'd do it. Maybe it goes to something like that. Maybe it kind of settles around that. So yeah, I'm thinking 10-ish% retrace on booster boxes and UPCs through end of year. And then it picks back up around spring, early spring.
Yeah. You and I are similar. But I think that the release of Phantasmal Flames is really going to cause like a rebound off of a little bit of stagnation over the next few weeks. Phantasmal comes out, holiday season comes into full swing. Then we have Black Friday, then we have Christmas. And all of those things, they don't always equal intrinsically value increases, but they almost always indicate increase in sales volume. And in this industry, when there's increased sales volume, inevitably things get bought for more than they have ever been, worth before, just by nature of what's available on the market at any given moment, which causes some price changes in the upward direction. So I think Phantasmal Flames is going to reinvigorate, and things are going to get back to where they were and even hit all-time highs, like you said, probably around April.
When is Phantasmal coming out?
I think it's a month from like today or Friday or something. I think it's November, middle of November.
Okay. Who is the guest next week? You said you would tell us, says Control Alt Drew. Yes, Drew, thank you for paying attention. You've probably been here the whole show, hanging out for a couple hours in the chat. We've got a pretty sweet next guest.
Yeah. As of right now, we are still on and confirmed. We're going to have our friend Danny Phantom on the podcast around the Midweek Machamps 2 weeks from today, guys. And one of the things that we wanted to bring Danny on for was because he's working on this like master every single set journey. He's doing it through YouTube Shorts and other places. And he's also been the owner of an LGS, an online storefront, for many, many years. He's been a competitive player. He's obviously a mainstay in the YouTube area of the hobby. And who better to help us rank, order all of the Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet sets. We're gonna do a little ranking system together live, hanging out with Danny, having a good time, and we'll take a break of all this sweaty market talk for a little while to really dive into our truer hobbyist selves.
Love it. Yeah, it's fun to do market stuff, but we're a couple market episodes in a row, like pretty explicitly market episodes in a row, which we knew going into this one. We're like, let's do one more market one, and then let's take a little respite and hang out with our friend Danny and just talk about how cool our Sword and Shield and SV era set. So we're gonna do a bit of someone said tier list. We're gonna tier list. What do you mean clickbait? No, we're gonna tier list Sword and Shield and SV era sets with Danny Phantom. It's gonna be sick.
What's clickbait if it comes true?
Yeah, I guess it's not clickbait. I guess, no, I don't know. What would it be? It's just accurate advertising.
Yeah, exactly. It's just truth.
Yeah. Confirming the click, as they say in my YouTube addled brain, my Yuri Poke brain, and I'm YouTube brained.
That's the most Ali Abdul thing you've said all night.
It's pretty Ali Abdul. It's Colin and Samir. Confirm the click. Yeah.
Great.
It's good advice, actually, if you're a creator. Someone asked earlier, what's your advice as a creator? Confirm the click. Okay, tier list guests. No, we're not going to tier list guests. Maybe someday, but not yet.
Yeah, one day when we've got a bit more cred, maybe. All right, y'all. That's all we've got for tonight. We'll see you in a couple of weeks with Danny Phantom. And between now and then, I've got Houston Collecticon. If you're in Houston, come see us. Ricky, any shows coming up that people can see you at in the next couple of weeks?
I'm off for October. I'm going to try to find something in November here locally.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate all the questions. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Have a great night, y'all.
Fun hanging out.